Interactive Wrestling Radio. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Interactive Interview on the interactiveinterview.com, courtesy of ProWrestling.com. We're here with the new X Division champion of the world, Chris Sabin. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great. So, how you feeling after your match last night?
Feeling pretty sore, just kind of chilling out, laying out in bed. My back's a little sore and stuff, but, I feel good, though.
Let's be honest with me. Did you think that belt was going to come down at the end?
I didn't think it was ever going to come down.
I was watching that, and I was like, oh, no, that thing better come off.
I know. I was trying with all my might. I had a death grip on that thing. There was no way I was coming down without it, though, man.
Did they do anything special to make sure the belt stayed up there after last time when it fell down a lot?
Yeah, they put some some electrical tape. So, and electrical tape actually isn't that strong. So, I guess they assumed that if I just hung from it, it would break. But it actually just didn't really break for a couple moments. So.
Well, it was an excellent match. Any memories besides that? Any memorable moments of the match that you have? Except winning it, of course?
Pretty much just taking that German suplex from Loki. I just remember getting the wind knocked out of me. That's about it.
Yeah, that almost looked like you. I said, oh, no, when I saw it, because I thought you were going to come down right on the corners. So that was...
Yeah. It was close, so. But, yeah, everything, everyone was okay afterwards, and, it turned out to be good, so.
Excellent. So, do you mind if we get to the more anal retentive part of our show, where we go in chronological order?
Of course. All right, go ahead.
All right. Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Yes, I've been a wrestling fan for as long as I can remember.
Who were some of your favorites at the time?
When I was little, Hogan, of course, and Ultimate Warrior. Those were like my two favorites. As I got older, once I started getting to the Bret Hart era, Bret Hart was like my favorite. Then as soon as I started getting older again, I watching more Japan stuff. Like when I started getting to high school and stuff, I started to enjoy Dean Malenko. And to this day, Dean Malenko is my favorite.
Well, at what point did you decide you wanted to do wrestling as a profession?
I really always wanted to do it. It was always a dream of mine growing up. I've always thought, that's just something I wanted to do. And, I just figured I might as well give it a try. If it's something that's my dream, it's what I always wanted to do. So as soon as I graduated high school, that's what I pursued.
What sort of athletic background do you come from? Did you play any collegiate or high school sports?
I did high school sports. I did wrestling, track, and soccer. So I played soccer for 14 years. I think my entire life. I played soccer my whole life. But yeah, that's about it. In high school, I wrestled and did track too. So.
Who trained you for wrestling?
Actually, I started off at a school in Michigan by a guy named Nate Madsen. The school kind of fell through and didn't really stay together, so Nate brought me over and showed me the Can-Am Wrestling School, which is run by Scott Demore. And actually went over there, and Scott finished up my training, so.
Several of the guests we've had on the show have told us about any stories or emotions about their debut match. Do you have any specific memories or emotions that you can recall about your first match?
The only thing I can only recall is how nervous I was. I just remember being super nervous and back and just feeling super relieved when it was over. I don't really remember the match that well, but I remember how nervous I was.
Who was it against?
It was against these two guys from Michigan called the Cold Brothers. It was a tag team match.
You were the NWA Great Lakes Heavyweight Champion. Any memories of holding that championship belt?
Yeah, it was just, I remember doing a show and I believe I beat Gutter for the belt, and, it was just, I guess I don't really have any that much memories of it. It's just I remember beating him for it, and then I had it for a while, and the promotion just kind of stopped running shows, so.
So technically, do you think you're still the reigning champ?
I don't even know, but I guess that's possible.
With your size being what it is, you pretty much could compete either as a heavyweight or as a junior heavyweight. I know TNA has the X division, which is not about weight limits, but what would you prefer to be considered in the eyes of the fans?
The eyes of the fans, I'm a cruiserweight. I pretty much am a cruiserweight because I mean, like I just can't get to the size of some of the heavyweights just like way bigger, just like Jeff Jarrett. You know what I mean? Actually, Jeff Jarrett isn't actually that much bigger than me, but I think to the fans, I'm definitely a cruiserweight. Just I think that's my style, and my style blends better with cruiserweights too, and I think I have better matches with cruiserweights. But they've always said it's been kind of a curse to be considered a cruiserweight in the wrestling business. You always want to be considered a heavyweight, but to the fans, I would say I'm a cruiserweight.
You were the XWF Tag Team Champion. Is this the same XWF that Jimmy Hart ran?
Actually, that was a different XWF. So
I thought so.
Yeah, that was just a small promotion in Michigan that was called XWF. It wasn't anything like Jimmy Hart's XWF or anything, but
that's what I thought. I discussed it with somebody before the show, and I was like, "You think it's the same one?" And he's like, "Yeah, but okay." All right, sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, Dan, would you like to take the next one?
Talking of cruiserweights, of course, you mentioned a second ago that some people say it's a curse to be a cruiserweight. How do you feel that, let's say, WWE are handling their cruiserweights at the moment?
The perfect examples I can give you is Paul London and Spanky, who are two just some of the best wrestlers, that North America has to offer, and they're getting used. They're not even getting used on TV, I mean, I guess. I don't really know how everything is run there or anything, but I'm just giving you that as an example. So.
Yeah. Of course, those two are that are somewhat slightly rumored to be spring cleaned of sorts in the roster cuts, but
yeah.
it'd be a terrible decision on the part of WWE to do such a thing. But wouldn't surprise us.
Yeah.
That said, if the WWE came knocking tomorrow, what would you tell them?
Well, tomorrow I'd be like, sorry, man, because I have a longer-term contract with TNA. But down the road, I definitely would consider it. I mean, it's hard to turn your back, on something that you've, I grew up watching WWF, and, it's hard to turn your back on something that you wanted to do since you were a little kid. So, I mean, it definitely, I would consider it, of course.
When you made your debut with TNA, you pretty much turned heads right away. What were your initial opinions of the TNA atmosphere?
Actually, it was really cool. Everyone backstage, everyone was real nice. Everyone got along well, and it was just everyone was cool. I mean, I knew some of the guys from before, just doing indie stuff, and as it went on, everyone just became like a family. So, I mean, there was nothing bad I could really say about that.
A question coming in from one of our fans, C to the C. He wants to know, it seemed like a very quick road for you to X Division Championship the first time round. How did you enjoy your match, and how did the match where you defeated the Amazing Red and Jerry Lynn rank in your career highlights?
My first X Division Championship?
Yeah. Yes.
What are my memories of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty much just, I remember it being kind of unexpected, because I think it was my third match with TNA. It was unexpected, to win the title so fast, but I was just happy to, I knew Jerry. I worked Jerry several times before that, and it was the first time I was working with Red, who was someone I always wanted to work with. So I just thought I was real happy, and I thought it was cool that they put me in an angle, too, because I actually joined the sex group afterwards. So,
right.
I thought it was cool that I was being, used in an angle and all that. So, I mean, I just thought I was happy with it, really.
Speaking of the sex group, what are your opinions of Vince Russo?
Actually, I have nothing bad to say about the guy. Some people have lots of bad things to say, but he was always real cool to me, and he always helped me out with my promos and everything. And I don't know, I think he was always a nice guy. So there's nothing bad I can say about him at all.
You did a WWA tour where you did a couple of them actually, but you did one where they were on the pay-per-view when you faced Jerry Lynn, Frankie Kazarian, and Johnny Swinger. Any memories of that match, that tour, and would you work for the WWA again if they asked you to?
Yeah, that was definitely up there on my favorite matches list. When I did, it was me, Frankie, Jerry Lynn, and Johnny Swinger in a four-way, and
right.
That was actually in New Zealand. So they haven't had live wrestling there in a long time. I don't even remember the last time they had it, but it was really cool. So I think that was my first taste of a real big arena with lots and lots of fans in there. So it was really cool, and that I consider that to be one of my best matches, and everything just came off so well that night, and it was just really cool to see the fans' reaction too, because the fans were so into it because they had seen wrestling there in so long. So I had a really good time on that tour. It was one of the best things I've done, and I would definitely work for him again.
We had Michael Shane on the show right after his the first Ultimate X match when he captured the title off you. Do you speak? Michael didn't really have too many memories of the first match, but do you have many memories from that match?
Yeah, I do. It was really cool because working with Frankie, I've worked for Frankie Kazarian. Like, I've worked with him so much. I've worked with him more than anyone else. So it was really cool to be able to work with him again. And I just remember being we were pretty nervous about it too, because this time, what they actually did the first time was they had us come in a day early to be able to check out the structure and all that. And they originally had it with, instead of those huge trusses like you saw last night, they actually had 4 kind of skinnier poles sticking out of the posts. So, Frankie was the first person to actually get up and test it out and hang on it. And as soon as he hung on the cables, the poles all bent in. So they were kind of freaking out there because, they didn't know what to do, because they assumed those poles were going to hold, but the poles just bent in as soon as he hung up on it. So, we didn't even get to check it out the day before, because, we were supposed to have a whole day to be able to, check out the structure and all that. But, so we actually didn't get to practice anything on there. We didn't even get to, the first time any of us ever hung up there was when that match actually started. So, we were all just pretty nervous about it. We were just hoping that everything was going to come out okay, and it did, so.
And one question I just want to throw in is that, of course, I think we were one of the first people to have Michael Shane on the show after his Ultimate X win. And have you done any interviews since you won it last night?
Actually, I talked to one dude a couple hours ago, and that was for a website, but it wasn't even an interview. He just asked me my thoughts on it, and that's all. So I wouldn't consider it an interview.
Excellent, good. Just an ego trip for us here, but yeah.
If you didn't know, we have Frankie Kazarian coming on in about an hour. So let me ask you this question. How did you get the nickname of the Future?
I started a promotion, just an indie promotion called IWR up here in Michigan. The ring announcer, Showtime, he just started calling me that. He started doing it on his own, and whenever they would, hype their shows up on the website, he would just put the Future Chris Sabin. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool name. So it just kind of stuck from there, and everyone started using it. So.
You were in the Super X tournament and had fantastic matches with guys like Juventud Guerrera. How does that championship, that trophy, rank in your career highlights?
It's definitely one of my best things I've done in the business. Being able to work with Juventud was just really cool too, because I'm not that old. I'm only 21, and I remember sitting there. I remember in high school watching WCW Nitro and watching Juventud on there. You know what I mean? So it was kind of cool to kind of mark out a little bit, and just to be able to wrestle Juventud, it was pretty cool. So, and he was someone I wanted to work with too. So I was just happy about it, and I was happy to come out healthy.
You did a few.
You're 21. I've got a couple of questions now for you that stem from your age. One of them I want to throw in there is how long have you actually been professionally wrestling now? How long have you turned pro?
Just over 3 years, almost 3.5 years.
And the question that comes in from the fans, one of the most popular ones, is where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I honestly just hope to see myself healthy and happy, and still wrestling in the business. Hopefully, still making a living, at this business, and just being able to still have my health and be able to do what I do. So.
You did a couple shots with Ring of Honor. Any opinion of that company?
Yeah, actually, I really enjoy working for Ring of Honor. I'm actually doing a show for them this Saturday.
Really?
In Wilmington, Ohio, and I always enjoyed working with them. The fans there are always really cool, because they appreciate the wrestling more than anything else. So I've always enjoyed, and I've always had a good time with them.
Were you at the event where Teddy Hart pulled his stunt?
No, but I wish I was, just because I wish I could have saw what happened.
Do you have, based on what you've heard, do you have any opinion?
Not really, because I wouldn't really want to say anything that I don't actually know. You know what I mean?
Right, I understand what you're saying.
A couple of questions that we ask all the guests. If I could get my words out, it'd be really good. A couple of questions we ask all the guests is, what upcoming shows do you have? I mean, you've mentioned Ring of Honor, but what other upcoming events can fans come and see you at?
Oh goodness, I don't have my planner on me. I keep everything written down, but I know I'm gonna be doing a show Saturday for Ring of Honor. I believe the next weekend I'm gonna be at IWA Mid-South, which is in Indiana, and the week after that, I believe Friday, I'm going to be in Ohio, in Indiana somewhere. I can't remember. Saturday, that Saturday, I'll be in IWR up here in Michigan. That Sunday, I'll be working up for MMWA, which is Jim Hall, writer for OneWrestling.com. He runs the promotion up there, so I'll be working for Jim Hall's promotion that Sunday. So that's as far as I can remember.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, just ChrisSabin.com.
Do you have a schedule up on there, or no, not yet?
I think there's some dates up there actually.
Pretty good.
I actually don't run it. I have a webmaster that runs that.
Excellent.
How can the promoters that are listening to the show or reading the transcript, how can they book you for their shows?
Actually, they have an email on ChrisSabin.com. I think my email's up there too. So just email TNA. There's TNAbookings.com they can go through, or I think at my website, my email's on there, and they just can contact me.
Excellent.
So that's the easiest way.
All right, before we go into word associations, I'm just going to throw you this one question that's submitted by Shane Cooper all the time. If you were to put together a best of Chris Sabin videotape, what would your best match, what would the first 5 matches, the only 5 matches on the tape be?
The first 5 would probably be a guy from Michigan named Truth Martini, who I used to have a lot of good matches with. I definitely put one of my matches with Truth. I put me and AJ Styles from IWC from about a month and a half ago. I would put mine and Frankie Kazarian's match from the Super 8 tournament, and I would put the 4-way from the WWA tour on there. And 5th one, I would probably put me against Paul London. That was on the pay-per-view for the week.
Would you mind if we go into word associations? Basically, we'll say a name, and you can say either a one-word answer, or if you have a story to share, feel free.
Yeah, sure.
All right, first name on the list is Jerry Jarrett.
Jerry Jarrett, he's always quiet, always been super nice. He's kind of, all business, just does his job and kind of sits there, and but he takes care of things, and he's a good boss.
Low key.
Super intense. The guy is just super intense in the ring, and he's got some hard kicks, but he's a great worker and someone I enjoy working with.
Trinity.
I think if given the chance, she could be like one of the best female wrestlers that there is, because she can do some unbelievable stuff that I've seen no females can do. So I think given the chance, she could be a breakout a female wrestler.
Christopher Daniels.
I consider him to be probably the best worker in North America today, and I really enjoy working with him.
Michael Shane.
Michael Shane, one of my toughest opponents. I've worked with him a lot since TNA started, and someone who I respect a ton.
Jerry Lynn.
Jerry's one of my favorite guys to wrestle with. I've wrestled him several times, and just someone who I wish would come back to TNA and continue to do what he's doing. He's one of the pioneers of the X division, and he deserves to be on there.
The Amazing Red.
Someone who I wish I would have been able to work a singles match against. I only got to do that 3-way, and then his knee got injured. But I really enjoy working with him just that one match. I really wanted to work with him a singles. So hopefully when he gets back healthy one day, I'll be able to work him.
And finally, Dan, would you like to take the next one?
I'm going to throw in Vince McMahon.
McMahon. Just pure genius.
And the last one that I can think of is Teddy Hart.
Teddy Hart. You know, I mean, people would expect me to say a lot of bad things about him, but, I mean, he's done lots of bad things, you know, to other people, I guess, but to me personally, the guy has always been nice. I mean, he's you know, talked to me, you know, real cool. I've talked to him a couple of times when he was at TNA, and he's always been really nice to me. I mean, I can't say anything about his actions or the way he acts or anything, but, I mean, personally, just to me personally, I mean, I don't know the guy all that well or anything, but he's always been nice to me, and I have nothing against him personally.
And the final name on the list is Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett, he's definitely a locker room leader. Everyone kind of follows Jeff. He's, you know, he's the boss, and he always helps everyone out, and he's a really cool guy to work for. So I'm just happy to be able to working for someone like Jeff.
The final question that I want to throw to you is, since of course you put on some amazing contests in TNA, if you could bring in one person you've worked from the indie scene that isn't televised, who would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Goodness. There's lots of guys I really think that deserve shots to be on TV, but goodness, man, that is a tough question. If there's one guy, no, it's all right. If there's one guy I would pick, if he wasn't still injured, it would be Truth Martini from Michigan, because I had lots of matches with him, and the guys are just a great worker, and he's a good-looking dude, like, he's got these tattoos, like these giant tattoos on him, and it makes him kind of like stick out, and like, you know, if he wasn't injured right now, he's got a neck injury, and he'd still stick with wrestling, I would definitely love to work him on TV.
Excellent. Well, we really can't thank you enough for this interview. It was excellent, and stay tuned for more from the interactive interview.
This is Christopher Daniels, and the Gospel according to the Fallen Angel says that you are listening to the interactive interview.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the interactive interview. Daniel, we just finished up with our show of the future.
Indeed. Your name, Willem, came up with it very well.
Yes, show of the future. Future Frankie Kazarian and future Chris Sabin, the new X Division champion of the world.
Indeed, and of course we found out during those interviews how they came up with those names and whatnot, so it's all good.
Back to the future. That was Frankie Kazarian's response. I found that funny.
Yeah. Yeah, good old Frankie. Yeah. Glad to get them both on. Of course, that wasn't the first time we scheduled them both, so I'm glad that it went through this time.
Yeah, it went through. They were gracious enough to actually pick up the phone this time, or be ready, so that was good. Not that we were insulted by the fact that they weren't, but just saying it was good that we finally, you know, there are times when we promise the fans interviews, and sometimes they don't pick up, and sometimes we kind of lose interest in it. And these
interest don't really
follow up on it, right? But I consider that losing interest a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or losing our direction for it. And we still want to do the interviews, don't get us wrong, but we just kind of get to this point where it's like, oh, they're not answering, so screw it. And then we decide, like, a couple months later, oh, we never did that one, so we call them back again. Case in point, Mike Awesome.
Yeah, which, of course, is, if in case you all don't know, that interview is done and in the archives.
In the archives, yes it is. I'm finding out that a lot of our interviews are starting to finally get some recognition from people.
Oh, yeah?
I got 3 different messages today from people I haven't spoken from before saying, hey, you do that interview show, right? Yeah. And they pretty much go off saying, yeah, I really am enjoying it. I like this Missy one, I like the Medusa one, and I think one of them said they loved the Jake Roberts one. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we're getting quite a collection that people are starting to listen to.
And I had a message from Chris Yandick, of course, the former PI guest, just saying good job with the Medusa interview, which of course was the last interview.
Yes.
now in the archives also.
He liked the Medusa interview?
Yeah.
Very good. Chris Yandick is a brilliant young man. I mean, people don't realize, I know we both rise him a little bit on his ego, and maybe he deserves a little bit of it, but he really is a brilliant young man. For a kid that's 17 or almost 18 years old, he is very bright, very articulate, very intelligent, and we're just very gracious to have him on as one of our friends. I mean, for a kid 17 years old, I mean, he's done a lot. And the future is going to be even brighter for him, so.
Hey, that's fun.
Oh, pardon, the future.
I think the future's going to be quite bright for him. So the future, leading back into our show.
The show of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Frankie and Chris. But yeah, so what did you think of both the interviews then? Frankie Kazarian first.
Frankie Kazarian first. Well, Kazarian will be the second interview on this show. But since he's the most fresh in our minds, since we just heard it last, and he's the one we inducted secondly, actually, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good interview. I was a little thrown off at first when he's like, "Oh, I'm just watching the behind the music on Britney Spears." I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know why that just kind of threw me off. I was like, "Oh, really?"
Oh, Britney's. Oh no, say that. I'll probably that. No, I'll shut up.
Britney's what? Say it.
Don't worry, I'll shut up.
Say it.
No, it's okay.
She's married already, or what?
Yeah, she is. So, Sabin, what do you think about Sabin?
Chris Sabin, I loved it, and I couldn't wait to ask him. So, did you ever think you were gonna get that belt down? Because for those who didn't see it, Ultimate X2, first of all, they're showing replays of it all weekend long. They were showing it, and right before, this is a good feature that people don't know, right before TNA airs, on pay-per-view live, they show the replay of the previous week on in-demand events. So if anybody has cable subscribers or in-demand, which I think is also on DirecTV, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they have in-demand events on DirecTV as well. They have it on all your major cable distributors. Pay the $10 if you haven't seen this Ultimate X match. It's not too late. You can really check out the replay. It is just worth your while. Excellent match. Replays all week long. And of course, I don't know what they have in store this Wednesday, but wow, that was just an amazing match. They really went all out. And our former guests, Michael Shane, Low-Key, and Christopher Daniels were on in it. And Christopher Daniels is hailed as our best interview in terms of our chemistry. So, very good. It was really good. Low-Key, of course, does not have audio, but
possibly in the future. You never know.
Low-Key.
Of course,
it's not the size of the fighter, but the size of the fight he will bring.
Of course, the man with the deepest voice meets for a guy his size.
All you can do
MLW this week, wasn't it?
Is be ready. What'd you say?
MLW with Homicide.
Really?
Yep. And they did a spot at the end of their match where a fan who wasn't a fan, it was a worker, but a fan threw something in the ring, and they both jumped the barrier and chased after him and such. But the security wasn't in on it, much like with when a WWE used a plant in the crowd. Security wasn't in on it, so they didn't know the fan was doing that, and they chased after the fan as well, apparently. So, of course, there was a backstage altercation with Teddy Hart and Steve Corino.
Steve Corino, who's scheduled officially for this Thursday. Of course, the interview won't be up then, but that's where we'll conduct it.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows when that will actually make it up? Yeah. We're just so overbooked.
We've looked at these two interviews, of course. We've had some of these two. We've also got interviews recorded with Simon Diamond. Johnny Swinger.
Johnny Swinger.
We're trying to get Simon Diamond. We haven't got him yet.
Having trouble getting in touch with him, actually.
Yeah. Also booked and done is Sid, obviously in the archive still, and Sanjay Dutt.
Sanjay Dutt and Scott Chung. Sanjay Dutt was a great interview.
Oh yeah, definitely. Really excellent. I mean, I said on the show that I wanted him on.
Right.
And I've kept persisting, and we've kept persisting, and we got him on. And I think that he forgot his title belt when he went to MLW this weekend, because apparently on both the reports said that even though the first match he had against Jack Evans was a title match, he didn't have his belt with him, and the second match was a four-way match, which wasn't a title match, but I don't know, it could well have originally been a title match, I'm not sure, but it wasn't, and he didn't have his belt with him. So,
is that the...
I think he forgot it.
Is that the MLW Grand Crown Championship Cruiserweight LPWGN belt?
No.
I'm making fun of their belts. They're trying to name belts these new creative names, but they just seem to go on and on and on. Just call it the tag titles. They're not the Grand Crown Champion Global Tag titles. Give me a goddamn break. Sorry. They're the tag team belts.
No, his one's the junior heavyweight. Which I think has always been a sort of a slightly strange name. It kind of stereotypes the guys that win it. And kind of, I don't know. But
they do use that phrase in boxing, so I guess it's a more legitimized name than a cruiserweight, but still.
But I suppose cruiserweights can always step up. Not that Vince will ever make them step up, but yeah, they can.
Yeah. We've seen it step up, like Jerry Lynn becoming the ECW World Champion, and AJ Styles in TNA becoming the World Champion in NWA.
Exactly so.
So yeah, there's no glass ceiling for the cruiserweights elsewhere, but in the WWE there seems to be.
It's not glass, it's solid steel.
And they're not getting through.
Exactly. So, which reminds me, I started reading the Wrestle Crap book today. By R.D. Reynolds.
R.D. Reynolds, go ahead.
And, and that bothers me. Why do you do that? Every time I say a name, you repeat it.
I don't know.
I was just listening to some old archives and noticed that the one thing that really annoys me when I listen back to it is that you just repeat everything I say, and then...
Repeat everything you say.
Exactly. And because you're repeating it, I can't hear what I'm saying next.
Can't hear what you're saying next.
Funny. Very funny. It's something I meant to bring up to you, but I feel I'll bring up to you now while, might as well.
I'll work on that, and I'll also work on my
Yeah.
You do it too, though.
Yeah, but no one could hear that I'm doing it.
Yeah, you and I do it almost at the same time. I hear it on the tape, but when they put it on the show, you hear me louder than everybody else, so... You're doing it at the same time as I do, so... Well, I think you probably copied it from me.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I just kind of say it like, oh, yeah, right, Just to sort of, kind of, show the gift that we're still listening, as we've been accused of not doing in the past.
Nobody ever accuses us of not... They're like, are you there? When we don't do it. So that's why I said, well, that's why I do it, because... If you don't do that, they're like, are you still with us? Because they think you're either toning them out or we've lost connection or something. Anyway, you were saying about the book, R.T. Reynolds.
R.D. Reynolds.
R.D. Reynolds.
Exactly. See, you repeat me and you can get it wrong. See? Just leave it to the expert, yeah.
Okay.
It works better that way, yeah. R.D. Reynolds and Wrestle Crap, and of course, is the book done with the forward by John Tenter, a.k.a. Earthquake. And, it goes in rather sparse detail about all of the worst of wrestling. It doesn't go in great detail over many things that I've read so far, but I'm only on chapter number 3 of, which is about page 70 of 250 or so.
What is a good example of a funny story from the book?
There isn't really many funny stories. It just kind of goes over the worst of wrestling, really.
What was the worst?
John Tenter's got the longest bit about him I've read so far, and that's because he wrote the bit about him himself, because he wrote the forward, which is about 6 or 7 pages long.
What didn't he like?
He didn't like. He was just talking about his gimmick as the Shark and his gimmick as Golga, and he's also talking about Typhoon's gimmick as the Shockmaster. So he was talking about that mainly.
Yeah, he did not like being the Shark, I don't think.
No. But he said that he did it because, like Medusa said, she threw the title in the bin because she was told to. It was what she was booked to do, and that's what John Tenter said, sorry. not John Cena. John Cena would be even funnier as a shark, I think. But
yo, why a shark, yo? Sorry.
Oh my god. And yeah, but then if you think about it, I mean, Shark Boy, he's a shark, former TI, I guess.
Yeah.
He's a shark, but he's pulling it off really well.
True, but he kind of goes all out with it. He has a mask on. I mean, most of us haven't seen it unless you've seen his Baldwin gimmick.
Mm.
He plays one of the Baldwins. He played it in what's the name of that? HWA.
Mm.
He played one of the Baldwins, which is funny as hell, actually, if you ever seen it. Very funny gimmick. TNA tried to incorporate it really early. They tried to let him do it once, and it was when Disco Inferno was doing that horrible talking segment that never got over. But it was right when TNA was trying to find their niche, and they didn't find it for quite a few months after that. But once they did, they found it pretty good. So far, I still enjoy TNA. Don't get me wrong. So
I've got a couple of Japanese tapes here that I'm possibly gonna watch now. Might watch a bit of one. Although it's, as we're recording, it's 2 a.m. I do have to get up at 7, so you know it might not be an idea to record it, watch it now, but I'll watch it. Supplied by a guy in America. Can't remember his website name, otherwise I'd plug it now. But I'll find it out. I'll find it out and plug it in.
I also got tapes of Portland wrestling recently, not from our friend Corleone, but I just got a tape sent to me by a friend I trade tapes with. Very impressive. Basically, it has this really old school feel to it, yet the guys are doing like shooting star presses and such. So it's like it should be old school and they shouldn't be doing that stuff. And then you see them doing these new school moves. So it's kind of like a good combination of the old and the new. The announcer's not that good though. He kind of stammers over his words far too often. But oh well.
Not everyone can afford someone like Joey Styles or, I don't know, another example insert here. But,
like Tenay and such.
Yeah, but not everyone can afford them, so.
Yep.
You know.
Joey Styles is amazing, by the way. That guy, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to his commentary and it just blows me away. Like the last MLW thing he said that really got me going was when he said, Simply Luscious cuts a promo. And she, puts her fingernails on a chalkboard. And Joey Styles comes on and he's looking at the television screen and he goes, I think somebody in the locker room did her. Did her wrong. And that just got me going. Sorry. Little funny things like that get me going.
Of course, he's not with MLW anymore, is he? So.
No, but the other one was Homicide slamming Francine's head into Michael Shane's crotch, 10 times. And Joey Styles starts laughing and says, that is the greatest thing I have ever seen. That, again, I just love those little remarks like that.
But, yeah, of course, now I think color commentary done by Eric Gargudo. Not quite sure how to pronounce his name, but he's a CZW color or play-by-play guy.
I had spoken to him once or twice. Seems to be a decent guy. I'm glad they didn't use Kevin Kelly, though, because he still does under the impression that he works for the WWE. That's the truth. He really thinks he works for the WWE still, and he hasn't for about a year now.
Well, it's not quite. It's only about 6 months now. But yeah, he's got his own segment on Acclaim on their website for the new Legends game that's coming out, whatever.
I just bought Legends of Wrestling 2 yesterday. Not that bad of a game. The gameplay itself is not that great, but the interviews that they have on there where you can watch, pretty impressive. They have a 12-minute interview with Hulk Hogan on there, which is really cool.
Of course, that's the game that Ultimate Warrior and Jake Roberts are both signed to do, the new one, that is. And he's got his commentary on the website, and he does he says, even admits it, but he says, this is my little Troy McClure moment. He said, you may have seen me for the past 17 years interviewing wrestlers, etc., etc. He goes off on some little, career kind of, not career highlights, more of a career, I've done this and you haven't, no, kind of thing. It didn't come off making him look like a, put it this way, he should have written it slightly better, I think, but I don't know. It's only on Acclaim's website, so it's not like a huge amount of people are going to go there and see it and read it, so.
Well, by the way, if anybody has Here Comes the Pain for PlayStation 2, and you are backstage and you're talking to Eric Bischoff, don't tell him you don't know who he is. When it gives you that option, don't say you don't know who he is, because otherwise he's going to sit there and tell you his life story for about 10 minutes. I sat there reading this over and over. I did this and I did that, and when Vince McMahon talked about ruthless aggression, he was talking about me, and I made Nitro, and I did this, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. When do I get to wrestle?
Oh my god. Yeah, I've got the game. I haven't played it in quite a while now, actually. I've been back home like a week, and I turned my television on once, and that was to watch the entire first series of Tough Enough again. I don't know why. I saw the tape laying on the floor. I was like, what's that doing on the floor? I picked it up and was like, oh, it's a wrestling tape. What is it? Shoved it in, rewound it to the beginning. I was like, it's a wrestling tape that you want to watch. So watched it again, of course, and since then I've spoken to Greg. Well, I haven't spoken to him. I've emailed Greg Matthews about a possible interview on the show.
Matthews, yeah, he's...
Simply because I saw the program and thought, right, who do I want to interview from that? Maven and WWE contract. Chris Nowinski and WWE contract. Who else? Greg Matthews. No WWE contract. I'll find his address.
Is that his name, Greg Matthews?
Greg Matthews, indeed.
There was Josh Matthews.
No, there's Josh Matthews is the other one. There's the one who's the interviewer for WWE now, but Greg. I'm pretty sure it's Greg Matthews. I know his name's definitely Greg, and he was the one that pulled out because of foot discs in his back. Something different.
Is he a high-flying kid?
Nope, that was Josh.
Josh is on the WWE contract now?
Yep, he's the interviewer for WWE. Good that keep up with it and stuff. Like it.
Yeah. I only watch the pay-per-views.
Yeah, well, I know that much.
Mm.
And so, yeah, Greg pulled out, even though he was, at the time, one of the favourites. But Greg was the one that didn't qualify for the first original 13. And then when the guy, Tom, pulled out of the event and didn't sign on, Greg was the replacement. He was actually widely favoured to go on and win it at the time when the program was airing, before people knew that he pulled out. So.
And you know guys never want to pull out.
Yeah, well, yeah. But anyway, kind of. So yeah, he's done a couple of shots for CZW and stuff, and I hear he turned down a major promotion, but I'm also hearing I'm not allowed to tell people that, so I can't go into more details. But yeah, Greg, hopefully on the show, and he's tagging with Rock and Rebel at the moment. So.
Rock and Rebel.
Alright.
That was awkward.
Yeah, quite. But you didn't really... Oh, we did talk about Chris Sabin. I didn't talk about Chris Sabin's interview, did I?
Go ahead. What did you think of Chris Sabin's interview?
I really enjoyed it. I kind of thought when we, when we booked him, and he was supposed to be on the Tuesday before his X2, and he said, no, I can't do it because I'm flying in the day early, and we were like, okay, sure. How about, when you're next free? He said, Thursday. So, okay, cool. Then I got to thinking and thought, hang on a second. We had Michael Shane on the show just after his
Ultimate X.
battle in the X, the Ultimate X. And so I got thinking, no, I should ask Chris, on the air, if it's the first interview that he's done since Ultimate X2. So it's quite, we're getting a lineup that we seem to get the first interview with the title winner after Ultimate X. We have to try and keep that tradition going by making sure we book. I don't know. I'm going to predict that Ultimate X3 will be sometime in 2004.
Probably by August or so. They'll try to do it again.
And they'll probably throw in, I don't know. They'll throw in a random name. I don't know. Someday Dutt will probably be in that match.
Yeah.
I think we should take a gamble and book him again. So.
I think they should do something. I have a couple spots in mind for the to use the wires, but I don't want to say them now. But like I told you, as you've been telling me things, I have come up with ideas that have been used on TV, and it made people stars that never gave me their respect, and still owe me money. So I don't want to get to that, but like I said, whenever you start, whenever you're going to start, and I don't want to give too much away, let me be a part of the booking. I can definitely help you out.
You don't give too much away into that, okay? Well, anyway, we can't say anything.
Oh, I just realized how much I gave away just there.
Yeah, you did.
Wow, I'm really paying attention, aren't I?
Anyway, that will be announced sometime. What James is talking about will be announced properly sometime in the next couple of months anyway, so you'll hear it first here. Speaking of which, talking of hearing first here, who are we going to hear first?
On
our next show.
Sanjay Dutt should be next.
That was smooth, wasn't it? That was smooth, yeah. Who's going to be nuts? Yeah. Who's going to be nuts? No, that doesn't make sense. Sanjay Dutt, indeed.
Sanjay Dutt, very good interview.
He did the name repeating thing again.
Oh!
How long was his interview for, James?
Sanjay Dutt, I would say at least like half hour.
Okay. So he really seemed to get into it and he's one of the, I guess, definitely actually wanted to do the interview, and definitely he wanted to be on the phone doing the interview. I mean, he was packing for MLW at the time, and of course he stopped packing to do the interview and such. Obviously, maybe that was the time, the half an hour when he was going to shine up the belt and put the belt in the bag or whatever, but he did forget it, but I don't know. So, it was recorded on Friday, Thursday, the day before the first MLW event. So, that will go up soon, sometime this week, probably Friday, Saturday-ish. Maybe a bit earlier. I don't know. I'm around there.
We'll have to figure it out. Things are hectic right now because we have so many interviews scheduled that we don't know what's coming up next. So we're going to have to speed up a little bit and try to get, give things about 4 days each. Maybe for the next couple weeks anyway. So interviews we have scheduled or possibly coming up are Bill Apter, who I can't wait to speak to. I'm actually looking forward to that one very much so.
Good.
Because I think he and I could talk wrestling for a little while. I think you would join in too. I mean, you and I and he would probably be able to talk about wrestling for a good amount of time. Also on the show coming up soon would be, as we said, Sanjay Dutt, Steve Carino, who will probably shed some light on the Teddy Hart incident that happened backstage on Friday night.
Also coming up is Mike Shaw.
Mike Shaw, formerly Bastion Booger, Norman, also Makam Singh. So he has had his gimmicks.
Exactly. I'm sure he's mentioned somewhere in the Wrestle Crap book, but I don't know. I'll try and finish the Wrestle Crap book before we get to his interview, which is
Tuesday.
Coming up very soon. Yeah, very soon, like today. Today? No, today's Monday. It's like, depending on when this show goes up, it's either Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, okay. I'll try and get that done, that finished in time, so see if we can get a mention of him in the book on the show, maybe, I don't know. He's coming up, Steve Blackman.
Steve Blackman. He had a cool theme song, too.
Do you think so?
No, that wasn't him, was it? Yeah, it was. It was a cool song.
It just sounded, it might be like kind of a badly sung version of the Big Boss Man theme.
Might have been. What was Steve Blackman's name?
I'm not sure. I remember his Titantron, where it like showed a picture of his face, and it showed a picture of like a couple of nunchucks. Then his face again, then some more nunchucks in his face, and such like kicks and stuff, and I don't know. But he's a good guy, so yeah. He's also accepting indie bookings, as is Ken Shamrock. I've got to throw that one out. Ken's also going to be on the show very soon to promote the fact that he's going to be working with two federations. So,
wrestling?
Yes, wrestling.
What companies?
Ken was going to come on the show to promote the fact that he's working with two federations. We're not going to steal his thunder.
Tell us now. He must know now. It gives us the precious.
His dates aren't confirmed yet, so
gives us the
so when
precious.
they are, he'll be on the show.
Gives us.
Also tying into the fact that tying into the fact that he's going to be on the show soon. Also, I got the interview with Nick Mondo. Everybody's wanted.
Gives us the precious.
So,
Nick who?
Nick Mondo.
Nick Mondo. Cool.
Nick, who's retired recently, but has a DVD coming out. So get the first word from him on that.
Who is he?
It's Nick Mondo.
Nick Mondo. I just repeated it again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. There's so many people coming on the show that I really can't remember. Everybody was booked. So there are a couple of other people. I mean, we have to give Kevin Sullivan a call and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's coming up in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Technically, we're supposed to record him by couple of days ago. But
No. 15th.
was it 15th? I thought it was 11th.
Yeah. No, 15th.
You're right. I guess you're the guy I spoke to. So.
Right.
Anyhow, we have to call a couple of numbers after the show and see if we can get them on. Book more guests. My God.
Hopefully not too many more.
Interviews with Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, and Shannon Moore will be coming up sometime soon, hopefully.
Hopefully there's sometime in 2004.
Exactly. All of them are either 50% or more confirmed. So, we'll keep talking about them. They will happen.
But just don't yell at us if they don't come. Right away, anyway.
Of course,
you know who we have to call back? And I just thought of this last night. Sorry to cut you off like that.
We're on the road 5-6 days a week, so of course we have to find a fit into their schedule rather than their fit into our schedule. So whenever they've got time, hopefully. You were saying before
somebody that we had forgot to get on, that we had promised people that would never happen, and I think we both forgot about it, was Road Warrior Animal.
Oh, definitely. I sent him an email a couple of days ago.
Really? Good. Because I saw he just did one recently.
Yeah.
And I just saw that Ricky Steamboat did an interview about 2 or 3 months ago. So, very interesting. We might have to get on that one, too.
Yeah, definitely.
I might have it.
And also, speaking of Ricky Steamboat, he's going to be at the Mid-South, Mid-Atlantic. Can't think. He's going to be at the Legend Fans Fest convention with, and did we run the commercial about that? I can't remember.
We did not run it. You did not send it again.
That's because I couldn't find it. And of course, speaking of Ricky Steamboat, he's going to be on the Legend Fan Fest coming up very soon. And of course, he's not the only guy on there. There's a load of people on there. And we're going to try and run a commercial for it soon because it was on the website, but it's not on the website anymore. So James saved it, but we're not sure where it is. So we'll try and run an infomercial for it on the next show or the show after or something. But hopefully we're going to get a couple of guys from the convention on to speak about it. Possible names are limited down to at the moment. Greg Valentine, Jim Cornette, Bill Eadie as the Master Superstar, and Oliver Humperdinck.
Bill Eadie?
Yeah.
Axe.
Yes, he's the Master Superstar.
Cowboy. Say it with me.
No.
Cowboy.
If you think so. And
I know so.
Oliver Humperdinck and Magnum PA are the possibilities.
Word associations for Bill Eadie. Cowboy, Bob Orton. Cowboy, Bill Watts. See if he reacts to it.
I don't think he will. I don't know. Yeah, so.
For those who don't know, there's somebody on our forums who claims to be a former wrestler that is actually an administrator on 3swforums.com. And yes, he is. He has some power, doesn't he? Isn't he a moderator of some kind then?
Yeah, the moderator. He's not an administrator.
Then how come I got laughed at when I called somebody an admin? I mean, I called them a moderator, and they're like, "Oh, I never heard that before. Oh, it's administrator." No, whatever. Is there a difference?
Quite a hell of a difference, yeah. I guess people just was laughing at you no matter what you said, because most of it was rubbish anyway. So. I don't know. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are possibilities. The short list for the show. Hopefully we get either one or two of those guys on.
I'd like to get Bill Eadie.
I'm hoping. No, I'm not gonna. My priorities from that list are for Oliver Humperdinck and Magnum TA, simply because Magnum will be a good interview, and Humperdinck, I haven't seen on any other show, like, ever.
I didn't know he was still. I did not know that he was still alive.
He is. He's still around there.
Yeah.
And he'll be at the show, so we'll obviously plug the Fan Fest more when we get the commercial and get the information and such, and get the interviews and the guys on the show. So, end of the Plug Fest. I think, are we done? Should we give it a wrap up with a nice song to end?
Maybe.
What song do you have in mind?
I know Motley Crue sent me a private message. and I can't check it to read it, so I know he's probably requesting a song. At least that's what I think. If he wants to click my profile and send me an email, I'd appreciate it. But I can't seem to check my private messages since I'm banned.
Great.
Right, so I'm going to play Rock of Ages by this guy, Kelly Hansen, who's the lead singer of a band called...
Hanson.
No.
Oh.
I thought that myself, and I'm like, what the hell? Kelly Hansen? My God, the same guy that sings Bop? No. No, he's a guy from a band called Hurricane.
Hurricane Hanson.
Stand back.
Hurricane from Rome.
You ever hear Buff Bagwell make fun of
No.
he makes fun of Hurricane Shane Helms and goes, stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. Are you getting the in there?
Yeah. I hear it.
Cindy Brady. Sorry.
Now you're confused. Now you're losing me. Is that I don't know. It must be an American thing. I don't know. Interesting. Anyhow, yep, and check out the interactiveinterview.com for the next show, which should be up sometime next week, and check out the archives. And if you haven't heard some of our interviews, go check them out, go read them. If you like what you read, check them out via audio. All the links are there for every interview that's been conducted, it's all online. So.
Do download the show in audio. I can tell some people are just reading the recaps and giving their opinion of the recap instead of giving their opinion of the actual audio product. If you're listening to this, listen to all of the audio, because the audio is what costs us more money to put up. So please listen to the audio.
And one thing I quickly want to throw out, I want to throw out a plug to Tipsy Rabbit, because he keeps wanting his name mentioned on the show, and
Tipsy.
He's been whining and whining about it, so there we go. Okay.
Tipsy Rabbit.
I spoke to him on the phone the other day. He called someone else's phone, and I got put on the phone. They were like, oh, it's him. And I was like, okay. I spoke to him for about 60 seconds, and he's gone on and on about it. So no, obviously, it must be a huge thing for him. Speaking with me, so fair enough. I can understand it, but, just quiet down about it,
If Tipsy's listening to the show, post feedback.
He does. He's good.
Tipsy Rabbit. Tipsy. I'm coming up with my little song about Tipsy. Tipsy. Yeah, a whole bunch of people making that whispering, Tipsy. And I go up on stage and I go, Tipsy Rabbit, Tipsy, Tipsy Rabbit.
And would that be like a 4-second song?
I'd like to think there would be a chorus of some kind, but I have to think of it.
Oh, yeah. He's like Bugs, but not quite. He's never out of sight. Tipsy Rabbit. Anyway,
Oh God, I wish I got my guitar working. We can put together a song. James and Dan sing the Tipsy song.
I've sung the Tipsy song many a time, but
that was actually pretty good.
Thank you. I'm not bad. I'm improving. But, anyhow, yeah, this isn't Hurricane Helms, and it's not Buff Bagwell either, and it's not the girl from Hanson.
Actually, it's a guy, but I don't know. But he sounds like a girl.
I know.
He certainly looks like a girl too.
I've just seen a T-shirt that I was going to buy once that said, "I fuck with girls from Hanson." So I was going to buy one, but I didn't. Hanson aren't big anymore or anything. So, although, I'm sure.
Once you release a Christmas album, they should just push you off a cliff, because it's like the end of your career. And they just released a Christmas album 2 years ago, so that shows they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why I know that. I actually heard it in KB.
Ah, sure. Yeah. And then you bought it, and it's now in your CD player, and you just pretend and go up. I actually bought the single at the time, but I've since thrown it away. I used it as a coaster for my drinks for a while, but then JC sent me some new coasters and such, so I don't have to anymore.
JC sent you a Christmas present?
Yeah, and he sent me a Steve-O DVD, which As I was saying earlier on, since I've been home a week, you'd think I might have set up my TV and my PlayStation and such since. But I've been home a week and I haven't really done that until I watched the Tough Enough thing, and so that's plugged in. So I can plug the tapes in, but I still haven't set up my PlayStation, so I can't watch DVDs or play games or anything yet. So. I'll do that eventually. It's actually only connecting 2 wires, but it's it's over a meter away from my arm as I'm sitting here now. So it's not going to happen like too soon.
Aww. Kelly Hansen.
Yes.
There we go. And if those of you who don't realize, this is a Def Leppard cover. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Bye.
Say hello.
Hello.
Now say goodbye.